Y'all, gaming feels good again. We've been waiting 5-ish years for this game to come back, and now that it has, it feels so damn nice. It brings back good memories and a burning passion that I thought I had lost with the gaming scene. So today, let's get ready to roleplay as a better Transformer and take no fall damage as we talk about Titanfall 2. And if you enjoy what you see and you want to see more, be sure to sub to the channel and tap the bell to all. Okay, let's continue. For those that don't know of Titanfall 2, allow me to explain. Titanfall 2 is a first-person shooter developed by Respawn Entertainment and published by Electronic Arts, otherwise known as EA. The player assumes control of Jack Cooper, a lowly rifleman from the Frontier Militia sent to the alien planet of Typhon as part of an assault on the planet by the militia, who must join his former mentor, Captain Lastimosa's Titan, the BT-7274, to foil the IMC's plan of interstellar domination. This game was released in October of 2016 and is regarded amongst many as one of the best video games of all time. For some people, it's in the top 10. For others, it's on their Mount Rushmore of games. But why is there now a resurgence of hype for a game that a lot of people thought was dead and buried? Well, let's take a little stroll to the past, shall we? 2 years after the game came out, all the way back in 2018, there was an increase in direct denial of service attacks, or commonly known as DDoS attacks. These Sharpie suckers constantly took down the multiplayer servers and made it literally impossible to play this game. But wait, there's more. Not only were there DDoS attacks, but some of these bad actors knew a thing or two about social engineering and would go on to launch full-on ransomware attacks onto other players. And if you think that's bad, we got one more. This one I've personally seen done. Not only were the DDoS attacks and ransomware attacks not enough, but there was a chance you would get your entire Steam account hijacked. Yeah, a buddy of mine spent like 3 days or something trying to get it back, and he had to prove to Steam that it was actually him by sending in receipts of games he bought. It was just a fucking mess. Now you're probably asking, where the hell was EA and Respawn? Well, it wasn't long before they were like, you know what, enough's enough. We're sick of the shit. We're about to put an end to it. And what they did instead was put an end to any form of support for this game for the next 4 years. Sure, the game would receive updates no bigger than an ant's wang and merely acted more as a hotfix, but that was really about it. Besides, with EA and Respawn focusing on their other child that was making them a metric shit ton more money, why would they want to go back to a game that's plagued with hackers and try to fix it? This actually prompted a hidden gem to rise from the ashes. A community-made project named Northstar that single-handedly provided the safety and protection that a behemoth of a studio refused to do. This was the solace that so many new and veteran Titanfall players flocked to, and even though my time on the client was very brief, it felt like some sort of dystopia where everyone was able to experience the game without fear of having their account compromised or their router sent to the fucking Shadow Realm. Fast forward up until now, not only has Respawn fixed the servers for Titanfall 2, but they're also supposedly teasing Titanfall 3, but there are some things that I think we need to discuss when it comes to that, because the pendulum can swing either way at this point. Is it weird that Titanfall 2 got this massive update out of nowhere? Personally, yes. The game was practically left unsupported for 4 or 5 years after the initial DDoS attacks, and out of nowhere, Respawn makes the game playable. However, I think it was in preparation for the game's almost 7-year anniversary, and it could just be for that main reason. However, when Fansided asked Respawn CEO Vince Zampella about Titanfall 3, here's what he had to say. I hate to say yes, then people latch onto that and then skewer it when it doesn't come. But I would love to see it happen is the real answer. There are no exact dedicated plans for that. It has to be the right thing. It's such a beloved franchise for the fans and also for us. If it's not the right moment in time, the right idea, then it just doesn't make sense. Ah yes, that makes total sense. Not really, no. I've also heard that Respawn doesn't want to make Titanfall 3 because they're already expanding the Titanfall universe inadvertently through Apex Legends, and let me be the first to say that Apex Legends doesn't do a good job with anything except occupying too much space on my hard drive. I never really saw Apex Legends as a viable source of Titanfall lore or just anything Titanfall related, so in my honest opinion, I think another Titanfall game would be heavily warranted at this point. I'll touch on Titanfall 3 and the stuff that Respawn is doing that makes it appear like we're getting a sequel in my final thoughts. But let's talk about what we got going on with Titanfall 2 and how I feel about the game now. From what I've been hearing and seeing, the servers are back and there is some actual security to them. Sure, you may face a few rage hackers. I'm not saying they're entirely gone, but I'll take someone who wants to miserably piss on everyone's experience rather than someone who will commit a felony over a 6-year-old game. I actually got to experience the resurgence of this game with a couple of content creator buddies of mine like Mr. Rain Gaming, Gumarak, and Blue the Robot. And when we did, I had this urge I once had when the game first came out. The urge of nostalgia, but also feeling like everything's new and fresh. That could be to the new game mode that's currently out and has been named 3 question marks. I don't even want to know how long it took y'all to come up with this name, because I'm going to be disappointed either way. I mean, honestly, it fits. What do you do? I don't know. What are these? I don't know. How do you kill something with them? Beats the shit out of me. For real though, it's a nice little arcade mode. I was hoping for more of an all-out Titan warfare with rocket launchers and nuclear detonation. All 4 of us were basically getting the hell beaten out of us, but we're having a good time nonetheless. Playing through the regular game modes like pilot versus pilot, attrition, or even some of the Titan game modes, there were a couple things I realized. First, I couldn't hit water even if I fell out of a fucking boat. It's so damn bad that JFK would be alive today if Oswald had my accuracy. But that didn't deter me from enjoying just about every game I got into. By far, my favorite game modes are the ones that are just mostly being the pilot. If I was better at being a Titan, I would 100% be playing that. The PvE mode is enjoyable and a really nice breather away from the fast-paced multiplayer, but holy shit, whatever you do not die, or else you'll feel how long these things can drag on for. Nonetheless, it's enjoyable with friends and a really nice way to just rank up your guns and stuff. Now, when it comes to the campaign, I have not beaten it. I'm not even that far into it, but from the little bit I have played, the quality is there. It doesn't just focus on either you or the Titan. It brings you guys both together and it incorporates so much more into the story. The storytelling doesn't feel dragged out, it doesn't feel boring, it doesn't really sound cliche. It feels nice, feels natural, and overall it's just a good time so far. For my final thoughts, this game is such a classic in more ways than one. Everything from the campaign to the multiplayer makes the game something that I think everyone should experience once, and I would say go ahead and do it now before it's too late. As far as there being a Titanfall 3, it's a good thing to remain hopeful, but I'm not hoping for there to be anything related coming out. If there is, awesome. If not, at least we still have Titanfall 2 while it lasts. Going back a little bit to when I said that I would mention how there are some things that are teasing a Titanfall 3 release, well, one thing that people point out is at the bottom of the article for Apex Legends' most recent update, there are 3 different sets of numbers with a line of text above saying incoming transmission, subject Nessie. Apparently these numbers represent the launch dates of Titanfall 1, Titanfall 2, and Apex Legends all in Unix time. If you don't know what that is, all I know is that it has something to do with January 1st, 1970 and how many seconds have passed since then. Seriously, if I were to sit here and explain it, I would have been fucking dead by now. There's also something else that people keep using as fuel for the fire, and it's the description of the 3 question mark mode. It says, your rockets will blot out the sun, which is a quote from 300 saying, our arrows will blot out the sun. I'm honestly clueless as to why Respawn included a reference to 300 in Titanfall 2, and to tell you the truth, your guess is just about as good as mine, if you want to take a shot at it. And one last thing I want to touch on are the people saying that this resurgence of Titanfall 2 is just one giant cope and that the game will be dead again in no time. First, drink piss. Second, even if the resurgence is short-lived, why squander it for those who are able to play this game seemingly risk-free for the first time in years? The way a lot of gamers think now is that if something doesn't stay available 25/8, or if it dies for a certain amount of time and then comes back, anyone who runs back to it is coping with the game's misfortune. And I'm gonna keep it $150 with y'all. Titanfall 2 hasn't had to pump out recycled bullshit year after year, or even waste resources making trailers and devlogs no one cares about to stay relevant. Even though the game didn't keep up with the multiplayer pack for long, it stumbled back into the scene with open arms and anticipation for the future. You tell me another multiplayer game that has seemingly lost most, if not all of its player base, came back and then had people flock back to it. Now I turn the mic to you. Let me know what you think about Titanfall 2 down below. And while you're down there, go ahead and smash that like button and control that sub button so YouTube can show you my content free of charge. This is Sir Blackout signing off to get better at Titanfall 2. Seriously, I couldn't hit the broadside of a barn with a shotgun at point blank range. There's just no hope for me, I guess. Later.